Salve Discipuli, this is Magister Buddy with the Stage 30 lesson on perfect and pluperfect passive indicatives. We already know the present and the imperfect. So in Stage 29, we learned the present and the imperfect passive indicative. But in this lesson, we're going to learn the perfect and the pluperfect passive indicatives. First, let's look at the perfect passive indicative. So the perfect passive indicative is not formed by simply adding an ending. It's actually formed by taking the fourth principal part, which is the perfect passive participle, and combining it with the present form of sum. Now notice there's no dash in front of this. So this is not an ending. This is a separate word. So portatus sum would be I was carried. The clunky way of translating it would be, I am having been carried. If you were talking to someone and the person was a female, you would say portata es. You are having been carried, or you were carried. For example, fur a sene accusatus est. The thief is having been accused by the old man. A smoother way to do that would be the thief has been accused by the old man, or the thief was accused by the old man. Another example, hostes a Romanis superati sunt. The enemies are having been overcome by the Romans. A smoother way of doing that would be the enemies have been overcome by the Romans, or the enemies were overcome by the Romans. Let's do a practice. Go ahead and copy down these three sentences, bracket any dependent clauses, underline modifiers, draw arrows, put parentheses around prep phrases, mark all other words, and translate. All right, so first we've got a prep phrase. This is our ablative of means. Arcus is our subject, nominative subject. And then dedicatus est, this is our passive verb here. So the arch is having been dedicated by the emperor. A smoother way to do this would be the arch was dedicated by the emperor. All right, we've got another prep phrase here, ad urbem. We've got a nominative subject and we have our passive verb. So you are having been sent to the city, or you were sent to the city. Hostium is a genitive modifying dux, a militibus, preposition. We've got a nominative subject and our passive verb. So the enemy's leader, or the leader of the enemies, is having been captured by the soldiers. The enemy's leader was captured by the soldiers. All right, now we're going to look at the pluperfect passive indicative. The pluperfect is also formed from the fourth principal part plus a form of sum, but this time it's the imperfect. So I had been carried, eram portatus, or you had been carried would be eras portata if you were talking to a woman. So for example, Dominus acero vulneratus erat. The master was having been wounded by the slave. Smoother way of doing that would be the master had been wounded by the slave. All right, go ahead and do these four practices, the same as before. All right, so first sentence, a Simone, that's our prep phrase. We've got a nominative subject and our pluperfect passive. So the mother was having been cursed by Simon, or the mother had been cursed by Simon. Here we have another prep phrase. We've got our nominative subject and we've got our pluperfect passive verb. So the guards were having been positioned near the arch, or the guards had been positioned near the arch. All right, here we've got a nominative subject, an adverb, a complementary infinitive, and our pluperfect passive verb. You were having been ordered to work diligently. Smoother way to do that is you had been ordered to work diligently. Here's our prep phrase: nominative subject, pluperfect passive verb. Haterius was having been deceived by Salvius. Smoother way to do that would be Haterius had been deceived by Salvius. All right, remember with passive, the subject is receiving the action. The perfect and the pluperfect are formed with the perfect passive participle, also known as the fourth principal part. Add the present tense of sum for the perfect. Add the imperfect of sum for the pluperfect. Quale to discipuli.